A few people have asked me about getting past the shore break, so that's what I'll talk about now. I'll make a few big picture points and then talk a little bit about how the timing works and how the wave works so that you understand its movement. And then we'll talk about specific strategies to get out there, and then we'll talk about what to do if you get smashed in the waves and lose your board while you're trying to get out. And then we'll talk about how to come back to the beach through the shore break. You can see when the waves start to break is where what we call the impact zone. On the outside in the deep water, the water itself is not moving. It's the molecules are bouncing against each other. But once the water gets shallow enough, then the water itself moves with the wave, and then that's where it has a lot of power. 1 cubic meter of water weighs 1,000 kilograms, so if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, when that smacks you, that can cause a lot of problems. And I know quite a few people that have had problems with that, and it can cause injuries and all that. You're relatively safe if you're in the area before it starts to break, and then the most impact is while it is breaking, and then after it breaks, it dissipates. We want to hit the wave anytime but during that point when it's breaking. Usually right where the wave starts to break, it does so at a depth that's about half of the height of the wave. So you can kind of get an idea how deep the water is by checking the size of the wave right at that point. When we look at the waves, we want to look at the speed. We want to look for sets. You know, they come in sets, usually 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, and then you have a little flat spot. So like anything else, you need to know your location. You need to know how the waves work. It's good to just sit there for 10 minutes and watch the waves and look for patterns and see what it's doing. You want to match your skill level to the waves, because if you overestimate your ability, then you can run into problems. Let's look at these waves here. Do you see these ones that are starting to break right there? If you look past them, we want to be looking like 80 meters or 100 meters out and figuring out how fast they move, because what we want to do is be standing in just the right place. And as soon as the last wave of the set comes in, we want to shoot past it as fast as we can. So further out there, if they're further out, they're going to be bigger when they break. So you want to wait there until the waves go past. The way the bottom of the ocean is shaped has a huge effect on the waves. And so all this water gets pushed up onto the shore, and it has to go out, and often the water will find a channel to go out. If you can find a rip current, that's your friend. It'll help take you out because the waves are smaller there and the water is moving out that way. Each location is different. Each shore break is different. Sometimes the shore break, the waves break in shallow water. Sometimes they break right on the beach. You need to know what's happening in your location. Okay, so see this wave coming right there? It takes time once it starts to break. It still has a lot of force for a few seconds after that. So just spend a bit of time before we go in the water and look for sets of 2 or 3 or 4. And then you'll see there's a nice flat spot, and that's the time to go out. In this particular location, when you go in the water, it gets deep and then it gets shallow a little bit, right? So if you start to body drag out in the first set of deep water, you're going to hit shallow water and you're going to get smashed by the waves. So when you go out, just look up and down the beach too, because there might be a spot 40 or 50 or 60 meters downwind that's easier to go in because of the shape of the bottom. Remember, when you go out about right of way, once you put the kite up, it's telling everybody that you're claiming a space out to sea. So if your kite is up, don't stand there for a long time, but go out into the water. Anybody who's out there needs to stay out of your way when you're going into the water. And when you come in, you have to, if anyone's got their kite on the beach, you have to wait till they're clear before you come in. So it's all about where to wait and when to go and how to go fast. All right, so a few things to keep in mind. When you're going out, you need to keep the kite at 10 o'clock because it needs to pull you out. We still see some people holding onto the bar like this as they're going into the water. If you hold the bar like this, you have no control over the sheeting on your kite. That's why we teach people to hold it here with our thumb, so we can control this angle as well as pull it in with power, because when we're going out we want to take in power to go fast. But if you're holding the kite here and you pull it, what's going to happen? Boom, the kite goes there. And this happens a lot when the wave hits people and they're not expecting it and they go, ah! And that kite just slams across and smashes, right? If we're going through a smaller wave, we want to turn our body to the side so we don't get the full impact of the wave here. We want to move quickly from walking to body dragging, so we don't want to have any time between doing this and doing this. I see a lot of people body dragging out with very little angle in this board, but you see we put our weight on the corner here. That way you get a sharp angle. That way you get a lot of speed once you're body dragging to get passed out before the next wave steps in. So even you might need to jump past the wave and land body dragging, right? And if you want to get a little bit of extra speed on the way out, you can take your one hand there and just do a little one-handed power stroke and turn it down and let it out to accelerate the kite and pull in right there, and that'll give you extra speed as you're dragging there. If you're edging your board nicely, it also, for example, if you have side shore wind, you want to go out perpendicular to the beach. If you're going out at that angle because you're not edging your board properly, you're going to spend a lot more time in the shore break. So get that edge on the board, go out fast. And if you do get a problem where you're smashed by the wave and you lose your board, don't try to go after that board in the wave and let it wash back to shore, because remember that if you put your kite towards the shore side and the wave hits you, it's going to push you towards the kite and the lines are going to go loose and it's going to fall down in the waves. So if you see a wave coming that's going to smash you, bring your kite to the top when you're coming in, and then you're not going to as likely to lose your tension and get smashed in the waves. On the way out, some people, it depends on the beach, some people will start right where the water is shallow. Sometimes it's better to body drag out. That depends on the beach in your location, because if you're trying to water start in shallow water, either the wave's just going to smash you and move you around, or if the water goes out and you're trying to water start and your board is on the sand, then you'll have problems too. On the way back, look for the sets when you're riding back to the beach too. Look for a set of 4 or 5 or 6 waves and match the speed of the last wave coming in, and then arrive just behind that last wave, and when you're in shallow water you can jump off and grab your board and come in the rest of the way. I don't want to ride right back to the beach, because if you hit the sand with your board you can go flying.
The waves! The dog.
That's our hair called, yeah, exactly. Waves. Dog. English class, part 2.
Los perros de la playa.
Coconut.
Oh, good coconut.